Midas.
What is this? No! The World Health Organization is not going to exist! I'm not going to live in a world where my wife and her boyfriend have to eat bugs! And guess what? I'm going to own a gas stove and you're not going to do a damn thing about it! And I'm going to live in a 45-minute minimum city, none of this 15-minute bullcrap! Ah!
What's the truth? It doesn't matter cause we brainwashing the youth. Poison the water and the sky and all your food. Rules for thee and not for me, we are immune. We make the rules, so tell me what's the truth? It doesn't matter cause we brainwashing the youth. Poison the water and the sky and all your food. Rules for thee and not for me, we are immune. We make the rules, so tell me what's the truth? No surprise, we own the signs, you know we control supply. So that if you don't comply, you might starve or go cold tonight. Keep them shut, don't open eyes. Politicians have the closest ties, make everything overpriced. Made the whole world go inside. Own the news and media, believe what we're feeding you.
I say a minimum of at least an hour, City, because I just don't like driving more than that. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Zurkadowski here of wearechange.org, and we have a plethora of absolutely absurd and wild news to get into today. Now, a lot of it is, of course, blowing back in the face of the propagandist, but first, before it does that, it needs to be called out, and let's be honest with ourselves, there is a lot of that in our modern day and time. All of this as it seems like some of the most outspoken people in the world are the ones that are being the most prosecuted. And whether it's this guy, the meme lord in New York City, or the former president of the United States, there are some very important updates to talk about their particular cases that we're going to be getting into in this video. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by the very talented High Res, and you could check out his YouTube channel and the full music video, which I had the pleasure of participating in over the past weekend, which I really had a lot of fun doing. I listened to the song a few weeks ago and I was like, I absolutely want to be a part of this. And a lot of really cool, great people were as well that I had the pleasure of meeting, hanging out with, and doing a lot of skits with, which was awesome and really fun. Again, I only played you a small segment of the official music video. Watch all of it by clicking the link down in the description below. Since culture and music is so important in our modern day and age, where a culture of hate, bigotry, and division is being sowed artificially with fifth generational warfare, which I think is perfectly represented with what's happening at American top universities and schools, which I call indoctrination centers. This as California's Anza College just fired their Black Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Director after he asked what the definition of anti-racism was, showing us the true face of Black white supremacy as he was accused of disrespecting the BLM founder and white-splaining for just simply asking for a definition. Now, definitions do matter, especially in prestigious universities. And to terminate, cancel individuals, staff, and students for asking questions just highlights the modern absurdity of our 1984 like society, where in places like Massachusetts, a superintendent is fired from the school board because he, quote, addressed committee members as ladies in an email. Yes, you heard that correctly, which people saw as a microexpression. And then quickly his job was withdrawn, essentially being fired for the position for saying ladies. This as in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a professor who's definitely playing the game and trying to comply with all these complex, crazy, and insane rules and doctrines just came out and said that, quote, he is an expert in the room and that there is definitely no difference between males and female skeletons. Yes, you heard that correctly. This coming from Professor Gabby Yearwood, who teaches, quote, Black feminist and Black queer theory with anthropology of sports and Black dysphoria. And if that's not fifth generational warfare, warping and absolutely destroying the young minds of the American people, I don't know what is. And hey, at least the students here had the bravery to dare to laugh at this proposition by this insane professor that is defying any kind of basic laws of humanity, along with physics and biology. All of this is happening as the regime that, of course, is punishing people who are their main political opponents coming up in the next presidential election, are promoting their crack-smoking, ladies of the night loving, gun leaving outside of schools, international businessman with ties to China, Ukraine, and Russia, Hunter Biden, as the next heavy-hitting artist to hit the art scene, as Hunter Biden is going to have some of his, quote, artwork presented in one of the biggest art shows in the world. And of course, absolutely no shady or really sinister business happening here, with people paying hundreds and thousands, if not millions of dollars to the president's son, who is known for taking bribes and money from international interests. Yes, nothing to see here, nothing to worry about. Just absolutely a bona fide artist living his best art life. And as people are laughing and scams are being exposed, at least we have a short window to celebrate, as the New York Times has just lost their blue verification mark on Twitter, as they didn't pay the $8. So in the face of all of that, at least we have that. And hey, the price of oil is soon about to go up, as of course OPEC and non-OPEC countries are about to announce oil production costs, which are going to raise the prices at the pump. And before hyperinflation and the destruction of the dollar with the de-dollarization and major attacks against the petrodollar, make sure to get your shirts on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, our own website where we get to do and say whatever we want through political images on shirts that you could wear out to the general public that can never be censored. For me, this is, again, one of the best ways to get a message out there to the general public, acting a little defiant while at the same time having the ability to laugh at our current circumstances, and more importantly, meet like-minded individuals, which you could very easily do with shirts like this, of a mock-up of Donald Trump's mugshot, which still hasn't come out yet, but we think it's going to look very similar to this. So we put it on a shirt. You could get that shirt right now on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. We also released our certificate of recognition, which, by the way, is a real certificate, which you can actually see behind me now in full HD right there, which you could get with very mysterious writing that we cannot talk about here on this broadcast, which you can still get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Just scroll down a little bit and we have a plethora of just eye-opening, jaw-dropping, conversation-starting, kick-in-the-nuts shirts that you could only get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And whatever discontent for society you have, whether it's seed oils, whether it's Billy Boy and his moobs, whether it's the real Island Boys, whatever you're into, as far as being displeased with our current political circumstances, we have a shirt for you on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. See you there right after this broadcast, as we have a lot of ever-growing and expanding merchandise, which you can only get by clicking the link down in the description below. See you there right after this broadcast. As of course, the Horn Shaman man was just seen finally free, wearing his Freedom t-shirt at a federal halfway house since he was sentenced to 41 months in jail. He was abruptly and very quickly released from jail 14 months earlier than, of course, his prison sentence. Now, exactly why was he released? Did it have to do anything with the video footage released by Tucker Carlson? Did it have anything to do with maybe good behavior? Those details are still murky, but I think the majority of Americans seeing him just walking around being escorted by Capitol Police probably had something to do with it. As of course, he is not the only free man that was let go out of course, confinement, as this man, Mr. Tate, was just granted house arrest in Romania and finally released from prison, as of course this man has not even been charged yet. He gave a brief statement to the media talking about how he has no ill will towards Romania, the people there, and its court system. He thanked the judge that was able to see things, quote, clearly, as he said, as of course him being arrested and not charged has made him more infamous, more popular, as a lot of people were saying, you should go to jail if you committed a crime, not just if you're accused of one, which is exactly what happened here. And I definitely think we're going to be seeing and hearing from him a lot more coming forward. This as another man in the hot spot right now, the former president of the United States, is soon expected to turn himself in to the New York City legal justice system after an indictment by the Attorney General there that we're still waiting to find out the details of exactly what is going on here, as the former president is expected to address the nation at 8:15 p.m. from Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday, and is expected to speak in detail about this arraignment, as his lawyers are saying that he is being indicted because of his 2024 presidential bid, as of course he is now the leading frontrunner, the main political political opposition leader to the current regime that has been very heavily investigating and looking at every little thing that he does. Now, Trump has already released some statements on this matter, talking about how we're, quote, living in a third world country, how, quote, radical left thugs and insurrectionists are, quote, taking over the United States, posting, of course, those comments on Truth Social, as he was seen giving his supporters thumbs up outside of Mar-a-Lago, as I think it's fair to say, as even the Associated Press agreed that this is a major turning point in our political discourse that is becoming ever so vindictive and dangerous to a free society. Another man who is ranking in the second position in many polls when it comes to the political opposition of the current party is, of course, the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, that is using this opportunity to specifically talk about Alvin Braggs, which he's calling a Soros-backed DA, specifically releasing a statement after the indictment of the former president of the United States, saying that he will not be extraditing the former president of the United States to New York under any circumstances, and exposing what's happening now as absolutely a political agenda that has no rule of law. And I would have to agree with him, as he even went as far as to describe the district attorney there as a, quote, menace to society, and I would have to agree with him. Now, a lot of people aren't happy with Ron DeSantis, as of course he took a cheap shot against Trump when first initially talking about this entire saga a few days ago, but what he's talking about with specifically this district attorney is, I would say, absolutely true, because if you look at this district attorney and if you look at the fruits of his labor, if you look at what he is doing, he is absolutely destroying the rule of law for his own perverse political ideology that has seen a lot of innocent people who have defended themselves be absolutely punished and prosecuted with the fear of being in jail for the rest of their lives for the crime of just standing up for themselves against the thugs that have been running around free all over New York City. This, as we're hearing about yet another case in New York City where a garage security worker is being charged with a crime by Alvin Braggs that could have him be in jail for the rest of his life after he shot a thief who shot him twice. Yes, a thief shot a security guard twice. The security guard shot him back. The security guard now faces life in prison because he defended himself after first being shot. This is absolutely crazy. This incident happened in Midtown just a few days ago, as this is not the first time that Alvin Braggs, of course, punished a person defending themselves, as we, of course, heard about the bodega worker, a 62-year-old man that stabbed a man who stabbed him, who, again, was facing the full might of the legal justice system until public pressure finally was able to, of course, bring attention to this issue and the larger injustices here created by Alvin Braggs that finally allowed him to drop the charges. Again, this case is just absolutely insane. All of this as crime has been going up, and the people that are being prosecuted the most are the people who are standing up against the thuggery, against the criminals, against the looters, against the people trying to rob them of their personal items and dignity. And I think it's fair to say that Alvin Braggs is one of the biggest ones doing that to the people of New York City that have to live in a place that they are perpetual victims or else treated worse than the actual criminals that they are standing up to. And again, this is one reason out of many reasons I've been telling people, especially on LukeUnfiltered.com, not to live in major democratic cities, as of course, this is the type of injustice, this is the type of insanity you will face, especially if you go to court and have to deal with a jury of other politically minded cultists who, of course, will punish people for their political ideas and not whether they actually broke the law or not. This, as a New York City jury just a few moments ago found Douglas Mackey guilty in the first ever meme trial that has happened in American history, as of course he made a meme that disparaged Hillary Clinton and was a joke that, quote, encouraged voters of Hillary Clinton to vote by text. Now, of course, this was a joke that even the FBI thoroughly investigated and found didn't affect anyone, because people knew that it was a meme, knew that it was a joke. It was meant to be a joke. And now Douglas Mackey was found guilty and is facing 10 years in jail for making that meme. This, as of course criminals run free, commit horrible violence, destroy property, attack people for their political beliefs, and aren't punished by the Department of Justice, probably because they have the same political ideology as the prosecutors here. And whether you agree with this man or the other guy, I think it's fair to say that things are heating up, and the politicization of the justice system should scare the crap out of everyone. I don't care what side you're on. There's a lot of these individuals that I disagree with. I might not like them, but I think it's fair to say if there's an injustice against one, it's an injustice against all. And to see the heavy-handed prosecution of individuals because of their political ideas highlights a major turning point in American history that is absolutely dangerous, ridiculous, and no matter where you are on the political spectrum, needs to be called out. If you agree with me, share this video with your friends and family members. It's more imperative than ever. You guys getting the shirts, starting the conversations, that's where the real solution is at. And that's why I thank you guys for getting the shirts on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and this is why. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on Luke. I was going to say LukeUnfiltered.com. No, on wearechange.org.